there was a recommendation that there be a change in strategy in Iraq, that there be a surge of troops. The recommendation was made by General McCain in September of 2006, start a surge. For over 3 months, while the clock was ticking, President Bush considered whether or not to change the strategy in Iraq, and he finally changed it in January of '07, taking 3 or 4 months to make that decision. You know what? He got the strategy right, finally, in January of '07, because the surge had a positive effect. But he took the time to make a decision. We did not put pressure on him by calling a commander from the field, who apparently had a very different perspective, for hearings during that process. We respected that process. We didn't try to put pressure on a president of the United States by calling Commander General Casey in to tell us, no, we don't need more troops, which is apparently what he would have told us, while the President of the United States was considering whether to send additional troops. The analogy is incredibly close to what is going on now. We should be treating the President of the United States, President Obama, with the same respect for the deliberative process that we provided to President Bush. And
Clerk will call the roll.
Two things. I would ask unanimous consent that a letter which was sent by Secretary Gates to the Majority Leader, Senator Reid, be inserted in the record at this time.
Without objection, so ordered.
I note the absence of a quorum. No, I withhold.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Senator from Arizona.
Again, unfortunately, a lot of the information that we have to get is through the media rather than testimony before the Senate Armed Services Committee. And I do think it's worthy of note that there is a story dated October 2nd, 2009, says the top military commander in Afghanistan, General McChrystal, rejected calls for scaling down military objectives there on Friday and said Washington did not have unlimited time to settle on a new strategy to pursue the 8-year-old war. General McChrystal said the situation in Afghanistan was serious and, quote, neither success nor failure can be taken for granted. General McChrystal was asked by a member of an audience that included retired military commanders and security specialists whether he could support an idea put forward by Mr. Biden to scale back the American military presence in Afghanistan to focus on tracking down the leaders of al-Qaeda in place of the current broader effort now underway to defeat the Taliban. Quote, the short answer is no, he said. You have to navigate from where you are, not where you wish to be. A strategy that does not leave Afghanistan in a stable position is probably a short-sighted strategy. He did not mention Mr. Biden by name. You know, all of us here have great affection and appreciation for the Vice President. We've all gotten to know him and like him over the years. But the fact is, the Vice President of the United States in the first Gulf War, after Saddam Hussein had invaded Kuwait, he voted against the resolution saying it would be another Vietnam War. He's voted consistently against U.S. involvement. And the latest, of course, was when his idea was to divide Iraq into 3 different countries. So the Vice President does have a clear record of being consistently wrong. So I hope that that's taken into consideration when he comes up with his ideas about Afghanistan. So General McChrystal has been reported to be seeking as many as 40,000 additional American troops for the war, a number that has generated concern among other top American commanders. Again, but that number, which is known to everyone and keeps being reported, that number is not going to be transmitted to the President by the Secretary of Defense. What? You can't make that up. Everybody knows it, but it's not going to be sent to the President by the Secretary of Defense. Anyway, and In a confidential assessment of the war last month, now under consideration by the Obama administration, General McChrystal said that he needs additional troops within the next year, or else the conflict, quote, will likely result in failure. Mr. President, we have a limited amount of time, but I don't have to tell most people and colleagues here what the consequences of failure in Afghanistan might be. So what we are asking is sometime within the next month and a half, that we get General McChrystal in particular, but also the most brilliant general that I've ever encountered in my life, General Petraeus, and others, to testify before the Senate Armed Services Committee. Maybe the House Armed Services Committee, whose chairman said that they needed that testimony, will proceed without us. I would feel very badly if the United States Senate was not given the same opportunity to have General McChrystal and General Petraeus appear before them, as the House Armed Services Committee chairman has said that they want. So, you know, I just want to emphasize to my colleagues, we're asking sometime within the next 45 days an appearance by the leaders we have put in charge of the lives of our young American men and women. We're just asking for them to come and testify before our committees of jurisdiction, to exercise our responsibilities as representatives of our states. That's all we're asking. That's all we're asking. So there's already 68,000 there. They are being wounded and killed as we speak. And as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has said, time is not on our side. The situation is deteriorating. Shouldn't the Senate Armed Services Committee, and through us, the American people, and the Senate Appropriations Committee, which has its responsibilities, also hear from these great leaders who are in charge of the lives and safety and well-being, and are charged with achieving victory and not defeat, achieving success and not failure in Afghanistan. Mr. President, I reserve the balance of my time.
Mr. President.
Senator from Michigan.
How much time is remaining?